I'm Bonnie Carlson with KSUN. The hate plague, as it's come to be known, is spreading like wildfire across our world.
Lord, you're talking about living with aliens!
They alone prevent our return to our homes and our beloved families. It is they who have caused injury, destruction, and endless suffering.
They can't possibly conceive of life without war.
And that's why we have to refuse them asylum.
No, I'm telling you, they've had their first experience with a life that can be lived not making war.
That was an excellent speech, Lieutenant Commander, but these are aliens we're dealing with. You can't possibly expect them to adapt to our kind of lifestyle.
It's one of them. They're taking away Jessica. I hate them, Gregory. I hate them all.
Mark, we're not helpless. We can get even with them. We can use the spores, make the robots hate and destroy each other. Remember, we have their leader. We have the body of Optimus Prime. When we're done, the new Optimus Prime won't be the Autobots' leader. He'll be their destroyer.
As doctors work continuously to save Jessica in intensive care, Mark and Gregory turn all their focus and attention on reanimating Optimus Prime, tinkering with his inner workings, even attempting to jumpstart him like a car. But the revival of a Cybertronian is far beyond human science. The doctors at the hospital are able to revive Jessica, though. As Mark rushes through the hospital to see his daughter, he's annoyed to see the Protectobots there, not even uttering a greeting to them. It's a bit interesting to see among the Protectobots, Swindle the Combaticon is openly standing with them. One can only assume that the wheelin' and dealin' Swindle was the only vendor who had the parts the Protectobots needed in order to build their gift for Jessica. As Mark runs past them all and sees what the Autobots have given to Jessica, he can't help but be disappointed, immediately seeing her as becoming more like these beings he irrationally despises now. First Aid uses his impeccable bedside manner to inform Mark of their treatment to Jessica, his voice indicating that he's sure this will make her father so happy.
My daughter's awake, and you didn't call me? Jesse, what have these monsters done to you?
Dad, I can walk.
Dr. Morgan, her legs were paralyzed in the accident. This exoskeleton will enable her to move about.
Good heavens, Jessica. Don't you see what they're doing? They're destroying you like they destroy everything else.
No, we just want to help.
How? By turning my daughter into a robot?
Dad, they made it so I could walk again.
We thought you'd be pleased.
Pleased? At my daughter becoming a blasted machine?
Hotspot is genuinely shocked at Mark's response. I guess not every dad out there is as cool to the Autobots as Sparkplug. Or, nowadays, Spike. Jessica, being a loving daughter, goes with her dad, but seems quietly upset about his open hostility towards the Autobots, finding it very concerning. After taking Jessica with him back to their lab, Gregory is there, and they lament that they've been unsuccessful at bringing back Optimus Prime. But at least rescuing him won't be a total waste, according to Gregory.
It's no use.
At least he needn't be a complete waste. We can use his metal as raw material for making more of our alloy.
You can't do this! Stop!
Jessica can't abide the actions of these two any longer. She tries to move Prime away from the furnace, pleading with her father and Gregory to stop these heinous undertakings. Jessica, unlike her compatriots, understands that not all Cybertronians are the same. They're more than mindless, soulless machines built to carry out functions, follow programs, and process algorithms. They're people, individuals. They have hopes, wants, desires, and although they're not perfect and have their own fallacies, shortcomings, and, yes, even evil ambitions in some cases, that simply makes them, well, human. They can't all be marginalized into a war-mongering plague of a people who only cause destruction and suffering in their selfish existence. So many of them are noble, kind, loving, and deserve life and the pursuit of their own happiness within it. Especially when the Autobots have done all they could to make sure Jessica is okay. The least she could do is make sure they can reclaim the body of their former leader, even if they can't resuscitate him. Gregory also begins to see value in keeping even the body of Optimus around.
The Autobots help me walk! He's their leader! You can't destroy him!
Mark, she's right. He is their leader. If the others knew where he was, they'd come for him. And when they came, our spores could be waiting for them.
Oh, this freaking guy. I wish I could blame this on the spores, but I'm afraid there really are malicious maniacs like him out there, with too much power and leverage for their own good. For our own good. Mark then begins to do what may be the most scumbaggy bunch of manipulation we've ever seen in Transformers. Playing on Jessica's sense of goodness and familial loyalty in order to get her to comply with he and Gregory's wishes.
Jessica, we need you. Find a robot, any Autobot. Tell them their leader is here.
No, I can't. Dad, it's wrong. The Autobots aren't our enemies.
They aren't? Look at Gregory's face. Look at your legs.
They're paralyzed because of those metal menaces. No, I'm not wrong, honey. You are.
Do what I say because I'm your father. And you know I'm right.
All right, I'll do it. But I hate it. I just hope I don't also learn to hate you.
There's this moment as she walks away where Mark seems to feel a shred of shame at her words, knowing she's right, and he risks losing his daughter in this. Yet, Gregory puts a hand on Mark's shoulder as if to remind him that this is all for some twisted, greater good, reinforcing to us just what a giant turd Gregory is, willing to destroy the relationship of this father and daughter for his own selfish revenge. Somehow, Jessica is able to contact the Autobots all the way up their command chain to Ultra Magnus.
You are absolutely certain of your facts, Miss Morgan?
I know what my father is planning. Please take me to see RODIMUS Prime.
It's comforting to know that Jessica has the courage to do the right thing, despite her father coercing her to help him and Gregory conspire against the Autobots. She seems to have come to Magnus with nothing but the truth. There may be a chance to save Optimus Prime, but it may endanger all of the Autobots. Rodimus is having one of his bad days, it seems. The weight of his calling as the Autobot leader bearing down on him heavier than other times. He stands before a memorial to Optimus Prime within Autobot City, lamenting once more the loss he feels, the guilt he harbors.
Why do I keep seeing you in my dreams, Optimus? Are you telling me I'm not the leader you were? I already know that, Optimus. I always have.
As he hears Magnus approaching, he quickly replaces the cork on his bottled-up feelings inside and puts on his cool, confident commander face once more. He recognizes Jessica Morgan, seemingly even expecting her at this time, most likely told she was on her way with important news to be given directly to him.
Rodimus, I think you ought to listen to this. We've got trouble.
You've been so kind, and I owe you so much.
You were hurt. We were trying to help.
I know, but my father doesn't. He wants me to betray the Autobots.
How?
We intercepted Optimus's ship before that star went nova.
What are you saying? Is Optimus alive?
No, but my father has his body in his lab.
Even if Optimus does not function and it's simply his body in their possession, RODIMUS is compelled to retrieve it. Besides, maybe there's a chance, even a shred of possibility. If nothing else, RODIMUS could then lay Optimus to rest in peace, and perhaps finally find that closure he searches for. All of this is of great interest to Ratbat, stealthily spying on the conversation from above.
Ultra Magnus, we have to retrieve Optimus's body. Put him where he can rest in peace.
But that's what my father wants you to do. It's a trap.
I don't care.
Rodimus, don't be hasty. Listen to her.
I'll listen all the way.
RODIMUS Prime immediately orders Ultra Magnus to call in all available forces for this special mission.
Put together an assault force.
Autobots, Hotspot, Streetwise, Groove, First Aid and Blades, transform into Defensor. Aerial Bots, Silverbolt, Air Raid, Skydive, Firefly and Slingshot, transform into Superior. Throttlebots, transform! And finally, last but not least, Blur, Bumblebee, Steeljaw, and Wheelie, transform!
2 full combiner teams, a squad of Throttlebots, and a few extra troops like Bumblebee, Wheelie, Blur, and Steeljaw should be more than enough to help rescue Optimus Prime's body from a pair of humans, no matter what trap they have set for the Autobots. As a side note, this is the first appearance of the Throttlebots in the series. As a kid, I had Chase and loved that little guy so much. It was always a thrill to see one of your favorite toys appear in an episode, especially one as important as this. As Rodimus transforms himself, he invites Jessica to ride with him.
Jessica, climb in!
As he calls out the traditional command to mobilize. Autobots, roll out! Ratbat also takes this chance to slip away, heading to the Decepticons' current muster point, to reveal to Soundwave, Galvatron, Cyclonus, and the rest the surprising intelligence he's covertly obtained. After Galvatron hears this news, he's not so alarmed by it as he seemed to be in Dark Awakening, only determined to make sure he finishes what he started that day in Autobot City.
It's over, Prime.
So, Optimus Prime may yet live, but not for much longer.
The Autobots arrive at their destination, and Rodimus, always one to improvise on the spot, issues orders to his troops.
Optimus is in the lab, in the back.
Ultra Magnus, take the aerial bots and throttle bots and circle around. Jessica and I will enter here and distract Swafford and Morgan while you retrieve Optimus's body. The rest of you I need patrolling the area. The Decepticons were here once. They may return. We don't need Decepticons making this any harder than it already is. Defensor, stay here for backup.
I find it really cool of him that Rodimus Prime intends to confront these men who have set up a trap for the Autobots head-on, ready to put them in their place, while also being prepared to spring whatever trap they have set to be sprung, taking all the risk for himself, thus giving Ultra Magnus the all-important task of actually rescuing Optimus, important enough that he wants Magnus to have the Throttlebots and Aerialbots as backup. Also, to have Bumblebee, Wheelie, Blur, and Steeljaw cover the perimeter for Decepticons makes perfect sense, as they're the best scouts in the Autobots. Leaving Defensor for backup ensures all bases are covered, assuming they can avoid these spores Jessica warned them about on the way here.
And remember, everyone, don't touch any red dust.
See?
Rodimus has this competent, selfless leader thing nailed down. He just needs to believe it himself. Jessica enters first, hoping to find her father, reason with him, introduce him to Rodimus, and hopefully avoid any confrontation altogether. What she finds instead is unexpected.
Dad? Dad? Rodimus, come here!
There is certainly a lot going on within Rodimus at seeing Prime again. But he seems glad that Optimus looks to be in good condition. Yet, unexpectedly running into him here must mean trouble for Ultra Magnus and the others.
Optimus.
I don't understand. Optimus was in the back lab. My father must have...
Set a trap for the others.
Already they are being bombarded with these ominous spores. Although Rodimus Prime's first instinct is to jump right in and save his men, Jessica informs him it's too late. The scene we get is horrific. If 2 rats infected with these spores were concerning enough in their violent behavior towards each other, these powerful cybernetic beings, already practically demigods in their strength and abilities, prove to be downright catastrophic. The usually reserved, contained, and even gentle Ultra Magnus finds himself now unleashed with kinetic rage, changing to a semi and slamming into Fireflight, chasing down Chase to beat him down as Slingshot fights Wide Load, Air Raid turns on Silverbolt, and, simply put, all hell breaks loose. Rodimus is helpless to do anything at this moment, and knows they won't be contained for long. At least he can make sure their efforts aren't in vain, as his thoughts turn to Optimus.
We've got to get Optimus out of here!
This hate-fueled Magnus is finding the aerial bots no match for himself, and hungers for a greater challenge.
Where's that punk Rodimus Prime? I want him!
Against Magnus, the aerial bots, even with their minds scrambled by spores, know their best shot to beat him is to merge together into the mighty Superion. Doing so forces Superion to crunch through the ceiling to where he sees Defensor and sets his sights on the Protectobot Gestalt instead. Defensor wisely retreats, breaking down into individual Protectobots who know they can't fulfill their function of protecting anything if they also become infected with these spores. Meanwhile, Ultra Magnus bashes through every wall between he and Rodimus Prime like a juggernaut, managing to find Rodimus just as he's secured Optimus Prime's body on top of him, ready to make his escape.
Jessica, get in and hold on tight.
I got you, you lousy robot!
Yikes. He throws around the word robot like it's a reductive, insulting racial slur, spitting his hate at Rodimus as he personally tries to infect him with spores. Rodimus is too fast and maneuverable, dodging Magnus and Mark alike, avoiding any of the infected Transformers like they're the plague. Jessica informs Rodimus they're almost out, almost safe.
Turn here, then turn right. We can leave through the loading area.
Yet the loading area has other visitors, it would seem. Bruticus bashes through the bay door, and behind him enter the Stunticons and Galvatron. At least Rodimus was able to see them coming and avoid being immediately spotted. Galvatron, not knowing about the spores and only seeing a group of infected Autobots charging at him, meets them head-on, challenging them to hand over that which he wants.
We've come for Optimus. Where are you hiding, that coward? The Autobots are acting like
Rodimus knows the last thing the universe needs is Decepticons filled with even more rage and hate than usual. He reveals himself to tell Galvatron to watch his chassis.
It's a madness plague, Galvatron! If one of those Transformers touches you, you're infected! You're lying! Fine, whatever makes you a happy Decepticon. Just watch your rear thrusters. They've all gone mad! This is no place for me!
Things are getting out of hand quick, and you know it's bad when such chaos and madness is bewildering to even Galvatron. As Galvatron flies off to save his own skin, Rodimus burns rubber back to Autobot City with Jessica and at least one small glimmer of hope that perhaps he can do something for Optimus Prime.